Hello YouTube. We're going to pick an easy project for today. Just because it's one of them days. It's nice out. It might be close to 40 degrees, but it's going to rain tonight. You know what can happen though when it rains in the wintertime. Anyway, Road King informed me that this is a Western forge. I typed in YouTube and only found one video, okay? Now, the gentleman showed screwdrivers. They were the typical Craftsman, blue here and red here. But his number 2 Phillips, it was clear. Only blue was here. And that came off when I put it in purple power. I don't know if I mentioned that or not. The hardest part's going to be, these won't be clear where the lettering is. We're going to try to sand this thing and smooth it and see if it looks a little more clear. We may spray it with shellac. Protect what's left there, because it'll be gone so fast. But once you do that, if you try taking the shellac off, see, you're going to take that off. Because shellac only comes off with thinner. We do have some metallic blue and some other dark blue, but nothing that really matches that. So if we paint this blue, it'll just be to look good. Polishing, I might get brave to polish this. And I may get ready to polish these, okay, on my buffer wheels. You got to be very careful. We're going to start out with sandpaper. So now is the perfect time to show you my little sandpaper box, okay? Let's get up here in the airways. $1 for this box, and we're finally good. You ever have tin cans full of paper and everything, or pieces all over? We kind of organized. This is part of a sanding belt, 2-inch wide. These are parts of sanding disc. That's body sandpaper, doesn't like the long file. And we have some 1200. That's part of a 4-inch wide sanding belt. You want to lay down on something really rough. And this is various grits up to 2500. Oh, there's 2000, there's 3. There's a lot of difference in there. One of these when you want to lay stuff flat. These work good too. These are sheetrock 150 grit. There's more of that sanding belt. So this is good for stuff too. Beware of trying to get the scratch, but that's for sheetrock walls. Okay, now we'll go over here and look through the little stuff. Just see odds and ends and pieces. See, so I can keep them over here. So we're much better organized now. We did take some of these. See these? These are the center of the 8-hole off your orbit sander. See the holes where they were? The center hardly gets worn. So I saved these, and I went back and cut these. They're anywhere probably 60, 80 grit. I can't really tell you the grit on some of my sandpapers. Just well, that is an 80 on one of them. So we will be using mostly this and a piece of 1200. I'm running out of all of it, but there's some very fine sandpaper with water, of course. So, just to show you my materials, then we're going to get going. We will pull out a sheet of 600. I know this for a fact, this is 600. Part of it's cut off for the really rough stuff. So, here we go. Let's see what happens. We'll come back in between here and there and show you what it looks like. So stay tuned for that. We'll bring you back down here. There. Ooh, that was quite the drop. Boy, I wonder what that looks like on video. Anyway, let's get to work. Okay, real quick clips here. 220 sandpaper like used for wood. That's what it looks like. That had a melted glob on there I took down, okay? And then we'll come back around here real quick. That was a really bad spot. So that was the 220, then the wet dry 600 grit, and then we'll do it with 1000. We're trying to save the lettering, so there's going to be some defects where it says Craftsman. This won't be too bad, and where it says Phillips. That, then we're in there. This one, see how it needs a little more taken out? It's got like an indent. The only thing you can do is sand down and make it kind of dip in and come back out to smooth it. It's going to be better than what it was. And like all this, that'll be just sandpaper like 2,000 grit or something. Because I don't think we're going to be able to polish this and get, well, if you did just these, I may buff just those, but have to be really careful. And this stinks when you're sanding it. If it was any other screwdriver, I'd probably shellac it, but I think it'll be okay when I'm done with all this and it airs out for a while. This I'm going to do whatever it takes, whatever grits to get it polished. I may even use polishing compound on the buffer wheel. Okay, back to work. We don't want these to be real long. We just want to show you what we're using. It's just plain old 220 like used for wood. Cheap sandpaper. And this is a pretty quality wet dry 600. 3M, whatever it is. It's body shop quality or whatever. So that's it. That's all you get for tips there. And I'll come back and I'll tell you what I use for the final 1,000 grits or whatever, 2,000 and all that good stuff. So back to work. Okay, here's the plan. We went clear up to 2,000. We had 1,200, 1,500, 2,000. It looks so good when it's wet. Here's the plan. We're going to paint it blue on the bit side where it used to be. And I think we're going to paint this red. Because we'd seen one on a YouTube video, if I haven't said it in the earlier clip. It was a clear screwdriver and this was only blue. But we're going to make it our own. We're going to paint this red. This thing stinks. I can't stand it. I'm going to have to spray some air freshener in here. It does. So when it's painted, that'll be sealed. And it's just clear coat paint. It's not that polyurethane I'm looking at my shelf or that Rust-Oleum 2 type. It's real cheap. Cheap dollar store brand of just clear coat. And of course we'll buff up the shaft. See that funny look to that? I rubbed a little bit with 2,000 grit paper. See what it does? That stuff's still abrasive. I have a piece of it laying here. It's wet, but it don't look like much. I washed my sandpaper out and let it dry. Trying to get this to tilt. I'm using a different tripod. See that? That's the magnetic dish. I put water in it. See? It's good for stuff. Just put screws and bolts in. One little water dish. That's the plan. We'll be back when it's done. Shorten this video up some. And we are done with this project. We had a little trouble with the red. It bled through the masking tape, and we don't want to mess with it. We painted that twice really thick because it would not cover. I have the worst luck with red paint trying to coat something. Of course, I was going on plastic, but I did sand it. That's just model car blue. It's close to the Craftsman blue. And the red, I always say it looks like orange on camera, but we got a gray background here. We never did polish the shaft of it, but that's preserved. It's yellowed from age, but whatever's left of the writing, because it was dull. I'm sure you've seen it when you sand it. I mean, even with 2,000 grit, and I decided to do this. Paint it blue, paint that red. It's going to end up in my toolbox. It won't be on display, but there you go. I hope you like it. It's something different. It said Western Forge. I guess that's what it is. Road King knows. He's the guru of Craftsman tools. He said it in the comments. If you look back to when I was clean, it's with the degreaser. So, this one's for you. It looks okay. Okay, we're out of here. We had enough, and you know who usually says that. We'll give you some pretty pictures.